Hello and welcome once again on this Monday afternoon. Thanks for joining me. My name's Simon Williamson and I'm here from the AVAGO-INK design team. It's lovely that you can join me. For anybody that doesn't know, you can actually like and subscribe to these services. You'll be kept informed of any notifications as well. And on top of that, we're going a little bit more modern now as well. So if you've got one of these electronic devices at home, you can actually set that to actually give you reminders. What we'll do is give you some information about that. We'll put that onto screen in just 2 seconds, and that'll tell you exactly what to do. There we go. So if you've got one of these electronic devices, I'll not say the name, so I don't want to activate yours at home, but you can see at the bottom there, there's the 3 main ones there. So all you need to do is say, hey, and your device, play How to Craft Network YouTube Live, and that'll take you through to the latest video there. And also there'll be other videos associated with that as well, so it'll give you some more inspiration. You can also set a reminder as well, so you don't miss the show every week. And that's the same again, you just say, hey, and your device, remind me to watch How to Craft Network at a given time. And then that will give you a reminder so you don't ever miss it again. So hopefully that makes sense. And if not, drop us a line and we'll get that clarified for you. But it's exciting, isn't it? We're going a bit modern. So let's have a bit of fun today then. So the first card I've got has got a little baby shark on it. I'll not sing though, I promise you. So this is our first little card. I'll just build that a little bit way. You see it's got all that gold embossing on it. It's really nice, that. Nice shimmer to it. And I'm also going to be using that Thirsty Brush Confetti ink. We give it a nice glamorous bit. It's a nice little masculine card. It's got a little bit of texture to it as well with the embossing and the gold. So let's show you how to make this card. So I'm going to start off bringing up the stamping platform. And I've already got a little scrap of like cartridge paper. It's a little bit thicker than normal. I'm just going to put that onto my stamping platform. Put a bit of paper underneath just to protect the ink going everywhere. And what I've done is I've already cut out the stylish scales, which is the die. So it's like the fish kind of one. I'm going to use this actually as a stencil today. So I'm going to use that in the bottom corner. And I've got my clear embossing powder. I'm just going to bring this up a little bit low. And what I'm going to do is just push down into that stencil area, just so I can pick up some of that detail. That's perfect. I'm just going to just lift that up. I've got my gold embossing powder. I'm just going to sprinkle that on so I can catch the areas that we've done. And then I can see what I'm working with for the rest of the card. So I'll tip it all on and give it a nice shake off. And that's that. It's lovely, that, isn't it? And I've just got my little paintbrush, and that'll just enable me to knock back any of them loose powders that I don't want in my design. There we go. Knock them little bits off. Give it a bit of a tap. Okay, I'm just going to scoop that powder back up a second. Put back into my container. I'm notorious for dropping this all over at home, so I don't want to make a mess. And then I'm just going to put this now back into the stamping press. Going to just hold it on that corner with that magnet. And I've got the really big bubble stamp now. It's a really good size, this one as well. So you can see lots of texture and details on that, and really good for like celebrations on your cards. You can see there's loads of circles in that. Be really good if you've got like champagne glass. Put a bit of fizz around there. So let's put that and see which way is best. I think we'll go that way. And I'm just going to move my magnet to that side. I think it'll hold it a bit better. Let's pick that up. I'm going to use the embossing pad again. It's a really good covering to make sure we get all that detail. This is a clear pad, but if you do struggle at home, you can get these with like a slight pink tint, and that'll just help you locate where you've actually stamped to make sure you've not missed any areas. Give that a good push down. I'm just going to swing that around. and do the same again on the other side. So put some of that powder down. Give that a tap. I'm just going to use my brush to brush off those areas, just tie them up a little bit. Tidy that up a bit. There we go. Just move my stamp out of the way. After that. Oh, let's get them lids on there, then I don't spill anything. Brilliant. So I'm just going to bring that in now. I'm just going to use the heat gun. So what we could have done is use the static bag, which is what I probably could have done it, but I've actually just knocked that with my finger, but it don't matter, because we're going to cover that up in a second. I'm just going to use the heat gun now to change this embossing powder and set it. So you're going to keep it moving so you don't warp your card. And you'll start to see it starting to change now. You can see that lovely gold coming through. Some magical, isn't it? I'll never get bored of watching this. And just make sure we get all those scales changing. Just going up to them bubbles now. Oh, I should have got some tweezers as well, it's a bit burning. Just make sure we get all them bubbles changed. Nearly there. Just this top corner. There we go, that's all done. So Elizabeth says, great idea using the cutout as a stencil. I know, it's so versatile, that, isn't it? Because that, I mean, that in itself's a lovely kind of cutout to use, but then to actually use it as a reverse stencil gives you a completely different kind of texture to your actual artwork. So it's really good, and keep one of these in your stash. And if you do it in something like a holographic card, it's not gonna, you know what I mean, you're not gonna bin it every time. You can actually just give it a quick wipe and use it again. So that's his first part. So let's get that mounted onto a little bit of black paper. Just use some wet glue on this one. Not too much though, so it warps. I'm just going to pop that down. The Tracy says, I think many people are probably got hooked on paper crafting after seeing embossing powders turn for the first time. I know, it is addictive though, isn't it? I love it. It really does look lovely. Just put this onto the gold back. And any of the products that I use in today's show will be underneath the video as well. So you can actually go back if you want to have a look at what we did use. Sometimes it's nice just to watch into it and look at that later. So that's mounted on some nice gold. And then we've got a nice black tentfold card, which I've just cut down to, I think it's 5 by 7 I've cut it down to, just so that it'll hold this really nicely. Make sure it's open the right way. Let's put that on there. And that really does frame our little panel that we've created then. So now we need to have a little character and a sentiment on this one. I'm just going to put this to one side to be setting. And then what I brought in today is I brought our friendly little baby shark. But we'll not sing again. We've got that. And I've got the catch you later sentiment as well. So I'm going to bring in the stamping platform again. And I've just got a scrap of card. Let's get those both on there. Pick those up. I'm just going to use a VersaFine black on this so I get a really crisp image. Push that down. But it's nice to see so many of you on today, I tell you. Like a big family, isn't it? Just take those stumps out of there. And I'm just going to bring in now some black embossing powder, just so I can make that sentiment pop a little bit more. Give that a little bit of a sprinkle. Tap that off again. Perfect. I don't need to do the actual shark itself, I'm just going to do the sentiment, so I'll just pull that back into its container. And then we'll just bring in the heat gun. We'll just get this sentiment to change as well, to make it nice glossy. It just makes it stand out a little bit more, and that's what you want. There we go. Just move that platform out of the way so you can see what we're doing. So I'm just going to chop the sentiment away for a second. I'm just going to actually pussy cut around our little shark. I don't want to border around it this time, so I'm going to actually put it onto a gold mat in a second. So I'm just going to use my scissors to cut around this now. You could always leave the border if it's easier for you though, but I just wanted to give that gold so it all tied in with the card again. I like a bit of fussy cutting though anyway, it's nice, relaxing. Just take it around this way. Around its stomach. Just round its tail. Nearly there. It's a good time to have a sip of tea, isn't it? And just round its little fin on its back. Here we go. That's that. And then as for the little sentiment, catch you later. What I'm going to do with this is just cut it up a little bit to make it a little bit more abstract. So let's just chop that bit off we don't need. And I'm going to cut through the centre of this. And then I'm going to split these words up just so it looks a little bit more abstract when we put it on as card. An hour later. The same for the U. And then the catch. It just shows you can like chop into your own sentiments and make them a little bit bigger. More of a focal point. Get rid of my rubbish. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with the sentiment first of all. I'm just going to quickly mount that onto some black and then onto some gold, and that'll just make them letters pop out a little bit more. So the best way to do this is just to put it onto a piece of scrap black, bit of glue, just push that down. Don't worry about levelling it up now as we can cut it all out with scissors. Catch one down. And the U. Good this as well if you're not very good at cutting straight. Just push them down a second, make sure they grip with this glue. And then I'm just going to get my scissors. And we'll just quickly put a slight black border around all these words. Really fast to do, but it adds so much emphasis on them words, it's worth doing, it really is. The same with this one. Be nice as well if you've got the new fish collection for you to share your makes so we can see what you're doing with them. And then we're going to just chop this one. And then move that bit out of the way. And then we're just going to bring in the gold, and this is the same colour gold that I use as the actual matte layer on the front of the card. And that'll just bring in your sentiment back. So we've got the core colours going on again, the black and the gold. So I'm just going to quickly mount these back onto the gold. Almost put a great way of using those silly bits of cards for these sentiments. I know, and we've all got them, haven't we? And then we all feel guilty putting them in the bin. Let's just get them on the gold. I'll just put that there. So put a little bit much glue on that one. There we go. The same as we did with the black, I'm just going to trim the gold down a little bit now. So let's just separate those three pieces and use the same method. Just give it a little bit of a border on these quirky shapes. That says you. With so many of you joined us today, I think what we should do afterwards, if you want to go make a comment after the video's finished, on the live, it'll be brilliant, and I'll pick a lucky winner to give them a surprise gift. I'm not even going to tell you what it is, so if you want a chance to be in it, leave a comment after this video's finished, that'd be brilliant. So that's our sentiment. You can see it really makes those pop. So I'm now going to just tidy up my workstation a bit. I'm a bit messy today, aren't I? Get rid of those bits. And then I've got, actually as well, if you're in the club, it's really worth joining us. You get some fantastic offers and discounts. So you can see at the entry level one, once you get to 150 points, you'll get a 10% discount and you'll get your shipping reduced to £3.99 or £4.99 tracked. And then if you're the club member, you also get the 5% discount on top of that. And as you can see, it progresses up. So, you know what I mean? We're all like as craft suppliers, don't we? So as you actually spend more, you'll get more points and you'll get rewarded with more. So you can go from hobbyist to craft room to enterprise. And you can see them discounts are brilliant as you go up that scale. It's definitely worth joining. Right, so let me just bring in my confetti ink now, paint. So this is the Goldmine one, and I love this. It's got a lovely lustre in it. So you don't need a lot of water in it. It'll last you ages as well, these. I know a lot of people have the white ones for Christmas cards. So I'm just going to use some of that pigment, and we're just going to give our little shark a bit of a gold shimmer. Take it on its top bit. Around its big grin. Got a funny face, this one, hasn't it? Oh, a little fin down here. Look, nearly forgot his little fin. I'm just going to use the watery version of that paint just to give it a little bit of a light shimmer to its tummy. And there we go. So we've got all our components now, so we can pull this card together. And just get some sticky pads. That's the best way for this one. So I'll give a little bit of dimension and keep those shark a little bit higher. So do you know, like if you made a little bit of a mess on your card, this is a perfect way of just hiding those areas. That's our shark now gone on. And then we've got catch. I'm going to put catch right over here. I'm going to put the later down here at the bottom. And I just need a smaller bit of a pad because it's We'll get the U one. Ooh. And put the U in the middle there. And there we go. That's our first demo for today. We'll see what you think to that one. Just a bit modern, isn't it? And I love that gold. I think it really makes it a little bit more different. And a card that you could give to a man as well. It's very, could easily give it to a gent as a masculine card, or change the colours up, use different embossing powders. You can make it for anybody you want to, really. But I just love how that splitting the sentiments just made that more of a focal point at the bottom. So, I hope you enjoyed the first demo. So I'm going to get prepped now for the second demo. I'll be with you in 2 seconds. We're going to give you some more inspiration from some of the AVAGO collection. I'll see you in a minute. And welcome back. I hope you like that VT. Some really good inspiration from the Farmyard collection. So hopefully there's some cards there you can have a go at making if you've got those in your stash. So I can see from the comments that you all like that last demo, so that's really nice. My next one's a little bit quirky. I thought I'd do a little bit of home decor for this one, a little bit 3D. So I've come up with doing this idea, and this is like, just put a little stand on there. It's like a little life ring, and we're going to put a little scene in there as well. So the fish have got a nice little viewpoint, but I thought this is perfect. Little gift you can make something to hang in the bedroom, or a gift you can give somebody for the bathroom. It's just a little bit quirky, isn't it? And this is from HMS AVAGO. I didn't even know we had a bow, I've got to be honest. But you've got to have a laugh with it, haven't you? And all this started from one of these simple MDF rings, and I've got loads of these in my stash, and I never know what to do with them. So I thought this is a really good way of just showing you how to have a bit of fun with one. So let's get started on this one. So I've got my wooden ring, and all I've done is I've actually just put a centering cross on there. So you can see I've got my quadrants then. And then this one I'm going to do in blue and white. So I'll just make sure my hands aren't dirty, because that's normally where I goes a bit wrong. So just so it doesn't move while I'm doing the demo, I'm just going to use a little bit of tape and then a bit of glue as well, just so we can make sure these sections stay in place. So just work one section at a time. And I've cut some squares that I know are not going to be too short. And I've put my lines on so I can put my blue up to there. Let's start with the blue. And if it goes a little bit wobbly, don't worry, because we're going to cover it up in a second. So that's the blue one. Let's go for the white one. I had great fun with it, I tell you. And I've used some textured paper as well, just to give it a little bit more detail. So So Tracy says, I've got loads of them and some grain board ones, definitely excuse to buy these stamps and dies. I know, you can't go wrong with a bit of a themed kind of look, can you? There was a lovely video as well from Emma Blake the other day. She had a play around with the AVAGO products. And I've got to say, she did a lovely turtle-shaped AVAGO plaque for a bathroom. So if you can't see that video, it's worth going and have a look for. It's brilliant. I was going to do this. So that's my 4 quadrants down. So I'm just going to turn this over now. Ooh. I'm just going to give that a good push down to make sure all those sections are secure. I hope you enjoy these videos anyway. So if you do, don't forget to share them because do you know what I mean? Somebody might not know that we're here and we're here every Monday. And there's some great inspiration, especially projects you can do with your grandkids and things. Right, so I've now got a craft knife. I don't trust myself on Tony's new board, so I put a little bat underneath, look. And all I'm going to do is trim around this outer edge. So let's just use that craft knife, drag that around. Then we can pull these away as we're cutting them. So we'll go around from this side. Trying to do this so you can see as well, so. You could always trim it with scissors as well, but I find that a craft knife gives a little bit better cut. Or if you want a bit of a rustic feel to it, what you could also do is use a nail file, and that'll give it a little bit of a cut edge. I'm just going to do the inner part now. So, same as before, just going to use that craft knife, just run it around the centre. Same on this one. Didn't need that bit of board. Just cut these bits out. I think I could do with a new blade actually. It's just dragging a little bit, but don't matter. We'll get there. So I'm just going to cut the blue one. And then this white one, last one. Just see if I've got that one. I think I just need to cut that a little bit more. Oh, it definitely needs a new blade. Just get these last 2 bits. There we go. And I'll just move those bits off. And instantly, you'll be able to see we've got a lovely life ring coming together. So don't worry about these gaps because we're going to fill these in a second anyway. So the next part of this assembly is I've got some blue rope. So I've gone for a nice nautical kind of like cording basically. And the way I'm going to do this, I find it the easiest, is turn this over. Half your rope, so you know you've got equal amounts at both sides. And I've got a little bit of string here. And what I can do is I can just tie that around the midpoint. Oops, sorry, I've just lost where my midpoint was. So I'm going to tie that. And that's going to give us a start to his little rope on the edge. You can turn it over, and if it's not quite right, you can just give it a bit of a shuffle. That's perfect. And I've got my ball of string. I'm going to put a slightly larger amount round now. Now I know it's secure and it's in place. Elizabeth says you can't use a craft knife, it always rips the paper. It does depend on the actual quality of the blade, I've got to say. If the blade's blunt, you're always going to fight against it. Those ceramic ones are meant to be good. I don't think you've tried one of those, Elizabeth. I'm just going to wrap this string now around. Just a few times. I'm going to flip it over actually, you can see what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to hide that join there with a bit more string. It gives a little bit more detail. I don't mind if it crosses over. And then when we get to a certain stage, flip it over and we'll tie that again on the back. Put a knot into that. So we need the next one. So what you're going to do is just pull this out as much as you want the kind of loop to be. And we'll do exactly the same again. I do apologise, you're going to have to see me do this 4 times, but I couldn't really prep this bit. So just tie that off. Got that bit there. If you need to have a biscuit and a drink, you can do. Just pull that to the outer edge. And what we'll do is we'll tie the other one on as well while we're going. It just makes it a little bit faster for us. Leave a little bit of a loop there. I'm going to put that there, turn it over, and knot that into place. Trim them ends off a second. And then we just run a little bit of this around again to make it a little bit thicker. So all we're doing is wrapping it around them joins to make it look like it's actually binded, like it would be on a normal boat, or on the HMS AVAGO if that's where you are. I'm just going to take that around, turn it over, we'll knot that in place. I want to see loads of pictures of these after, I tell you. Want you to all make one at least. And then a little bit more on the other side. So, just wrapping that around. I'll go as fast as I can so it don't get boring for you. Get that nice knot underneath. Oh, it's fiddly, this bit. There we go. Now we've just got one more to do. So these are open ends on this one. The best way I found for this is cross them, and then we're going to put a piece of string across that, and then this is also going to turn into a hanger on the wall afterwards. So I'll just get a piece of string. We know that's where it's going to cross, so we're just going to turn it that way. Put that down. We're just going to pull these out a little bit so we've got the same kind of sag on the actual rope as we've got on all the other corners. We'll tie that into place. So it's quite fast really, and kids would love doing this with you as well as a project. I'll just turn those bits off that we don't need. Get a longer piece. What I'm going to do is just pull it back to this side. You can see I've got those 2 strands going up, so I'm just going to just centre that a little bit more and continue like we did with all the other corners. Wrapping that round just to hide that join line. And I'm happy with that, so let's get that tied off. Nice tight knot, there we go. Just pull them towards the top again. And I'm just going to take this bit up here. I'm going to tie it off, so we're just going to loop it around, put a knot in that, and that's where we can hang it up. Cut those off so we don't need them. And what you could do at home is just use a little bit of glue just to seal the ends off, and then that'll stop the threads unravelling for you. But that's our main template for our little life ring. Let's put that to one side for now, and we're going to make up our scene now to go in there. So I've cut a circle that's just a bit bigger than the aperture, and then that'll give us somewhere to hide all those glues and things, and it'll give us a nice scenery panel to build upon in there. Okay? And because I know we'll be up against time a little bit, I've cut some of these already. Look, so I've got some lovely green shades of that scenery from those dyes in the new fish range. And you can see how lovely that does that look. Gives some really nice depth as we're doing that. So the first bit we're going to do is we're going to build this circle up. So let's just, in fact, I'll use tape runner so it doesn't bow. Oh, let's put that just on the top half. Switch to glue so my tape runner's run out. I'm just going to simply layer these down, going lighter to darker. Let's put that one on there. I've got this lovely green foliage now, so let's just put that on. How amazing does this look? How easy as well. And just a little bit here. How's that? So there's something said about Simon, let's know the size of the ring. This ring, let me find a ruler and I can, oh, I've got a ruler on here, haven't I? Silly me. It's an 8-inch. It's an 8-inch MDF circle, that one. So I'm going to use my scissors. I'm just going to follow this circle around just so I can get rid of these excess pieces of card. These are my big scissors. Just chop it. Don't worry if you're a little bit wobbly as well, because this is going to all be hidden afterwards. So take all that round. Just look at that. Look at the depth you've got in that kind of panel now. It really does look like a seascape, doesn't it? You can imagine the fish swimming in there. You've got some lovely depth to that kind of scenery. I think as well, if you take away the front layer, you could do like a western scene with these. I think it'd look lovely. Like a sunset in the background, these could be the hills. They're very versatile, but I love that kind of like scenery. So get rid of that. So I'm just going to flip this over now. So the best way I found to build this up really is I'm going to use some silicone gel, and that'll give me some height so I can put some glue on top of the string and still support these midsections. You could use your pads if you want to, but I really want to make sure it's secure. So let's put some silicone in the midsections. A little bit over the string areas. And we're just going to pop this on. So let's just centre that up a little bit. Give that a push down on those string bits and leave the others to support. So we just leave that like that for now. You can see if I flip this over, our little scene's coming together now, isn't it? Looking lovely, that. I'm just going to pop that to one side just a second. I want to bring in our little finishing touches that I've got. So I've made a little stencil. So I've got the HMS AVAGO. So I copied the logo from the packaging that we have. And I've just cut that out ready. So I've got this, and it's the same diameter and curve as we've got on the actual ring. So let's get some of that on there. So if that's at the top, so I think we have HMS up here. You can do it on all 4 sides, but you don't need to. And all I'm going to use is my VersaFine black. And I'm not bothered if it's not a crisp image. I'm just going to just put that under there as well, just give me a little bit of support. I don't want to squash all that glue out. Hold it in place and just lightly tap through. And I kind of like it not being perfect, but it kind of looks a little bit washed away, doesn't it? So that's as HMS. And then we're going to flip round to the AVAGO. Layer that into place. You could name this, know what I mean? If you've got children, you could stencil their name onto it. There you go. That's as HMS AVAGO. And I did these last night. These are the little fish. I don't think you can pick up on this, but I wanted some glossy accents on these. So I've done them, and I've just done certain areas with the glossy accents. So we've got this like really cute tail there. You can see that shimmer and the eyes. I just thought it really added to them. I've got a pair of them. So I've done the fins like on the both of them and the lips and the eyes. And then on this middle bit, I'm going to put a little bit of glitter on afterwards. But let's first of all get him into his scene. So let's use silicone again, I think. So let's have our green one up here. Nice ball of that silicone. And that'll give it some height. So stick it under there. Lift them up a little bit so it looks like he's swimming inwards. The same with this pinky one. This is his wife, I'm convinced. And then because I've done them glossy accents, it can just lift them up a little bit. That's perfect. And then just to finish this one off, I've got some of the crystal stickles. So I'm sure you've all got some stickles out there. It's like a must-have, isn't it? And I'm just going to put some little beads on its back just to give it a little bit of a glitter finish. Just where its scales are. Try not to push too hard, because that silicone's still trying to set. And there we go. I'll hold this up. We've got the HMS AVAGO. Little wall plaque look. Little bit of a laugh there, isn't it? But a nice little project to have. I'll stand that one up there. And you can see it's really effective in the blue or the red. You can choose your colour scheme, can't you? Just a nice little quirky project. So, stickles. So you've got a lot of stickles then, Tracy, have you? I've got a drawer full. I went through a stage of collecting them at one point, but just a nice little way of embellishing it, isn't it? I was going to bring in that other one that we made earlier. There you go. So that's the two makes that we've done today. So hopefully that's give you some inspiration. I don't know whether you caught the show the other day with Carly Duff, but there's some amazing offers as well on the internet at the moment. So if you go to the How to Craft Network website and select the awesome deals, there's some really good offers at the moment on Imala and Pretty Penny. So one worth checking them out, see if there's anything that takes your fancy. And like with all brands as well, it's really nice to have something from everybody, and you can make them, mix them together. So you can use Stamps by Me with AVAGO, just have a play around really, it's what we're all about. So thanks very much for joining me today, and I'll see you at the same time next week. See you later, bye-bye.